What is the number one reason the mind makes it so hard to be an entrepreneur? In this video, I shall share this ancient reason with you and also show you how to be able to navigate beyond this quirk in the mind. My name is Vineet and I train entrepreneurs to be able to overcome the psychological battle with their minds so that they are free to create the business breakthrough that they desire. So without further ado, let's get into it. So you see, the mind is not designed for entrepreneurship. What is it actually designed for? You see, we all have a dream. You know, not all of us, but some people want to be entrepreneurs. You and I are entrepreneurs. And so we all want to create our dream business. We want it to have the impact we want it to have in the world. We want to make the money that we want to make. We want the freedom, right? We have a positive vision, as I call it in my work. We all have a vision for what we want our business to be. But why is it that so many of us entrepreneurs struggle? Why is it that we find it so difficult to be able to get to the destination of a successful business? So let me tell you what that reason is. You see, the mind is not geared for entrepreneurship. The mind is geared for survival. The mind does not care about your fanciful dreams. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care for what's in your heart, what that vision that you dream about. It doesn't care for any of that. What it actually cares about is survival, but not just any old survival. We know that back in the day, in prehistoric times, we were scared of saber-toothed tigers attacking us, right? And it was a wild terrain that we lived in. But in the 21st century, the type of survival that holds us back as entrepreneurs is a little bit different. It's what I call psychological survival. The aim of the mind, of the prehistoric brain, is not only physical survival, it's actually psychological survival. So what does it mean? Psychological survival is there is a sense of self that you have deep in the recesses of your mind. You might call it the unconscious mind. That sense of self was curated most probably in your infant years, in your adolescent years, right? Before you became an adult, there was a sense of self that was formed, an identity you might call it. That identity is fixed, right? It was designed to make sure that you were surviving. That identity is always going to take precedent because in your mind, it must preserve that sense of self, that identity, because that identity is equal to survival. Now, the truth is, that is only a figment of the imagination. It's not actually real. It's an imagined sense of self. So your physical survival is not necessarily threatened, but your psychological sense of self is threatened. And in the 21st century, that psychological sense of self is trying to be preserved. It's often in relation to other people, right? Our sense of self was formed in relation to other people. So therefore, that is why you find that people have, for example, a need to belong that overshadows their need for authenticity. And what I mean by authenticity is the dream that you have, the expression that you want to bring into the world. As an entrepreneur, you have an idea, you have a dream, you want to express that business into the world. Yet, it will always go up against your psychological sense of self. Therefore, the unconscious is geared to go in that direction, your conscious mind is geared to go in that direction. And that's where the battle happens. So now you see that if you do not get a handle over that unconscious self, that identity, then it will always win. It's a little bit like David versus Goliath. That part of you is Goliath. Goliath is generally going to win unless you buck your ideas up. So you have to be able to gain the awareness of what's happening in your identity, because on some level it's trying to survive psychologically. Maybe it feels unsafe. Maybe it feels as though it going against the status quo is a threat. But there will be some kind of unconscious focus. And that brings me to point number 2. There is a conscious focus and there's an unconscious focus, right? Let me explain what that is. Most people, they are only aware of their conscious self, right? Which is a small percentage. But a large percentage of who you're being is unconscious. So therefore there are two focuses, as I said earlier. One is trying to go in this direction, one is trying to go in that direction. Your job is to become aware of this unconscious focus, and you have to neutralize that aspect of you. If you can, number one, gain the awareness, and then number two, if you can neutralize this unconscious focus, that means energy and attention will no longer be siphoned by the unconscious mind, which is trying to survive psychologically and physically, and therefore you can take that energy and attention and you can now direct it towards your conscious creation, in the sense of entrepreneurship, a business that you want to create. Whenever there is a problem, there is a stagnation, a plateau, an oscillation that's occurring within your business performance, I can guarantee to you that as the leader, as the CEO, as the founder of your company, there is likely to be an unconscious focus, right? There is something that is trying to be achieved by your mind which supersedes the need to achieve the breakthrough in your business. Now you may say to me, but I want my outcome, I want my business breakthrough. But I can tell you that your prehistoric mind doesn't think that way. That goal is a threat on some level. So therefore, what is it trying to achieve that ends up cancelling the outcome that you consciously want? That's the question. And that is what we have to neutralize, okay? So this is the reason we must learn what that unconscious focus is, right? And as Carl Jung said, if we do not make the unconscious conscious, then we will call it fate. And that's what it's about. The mind is geared towards survival. We must learn to become aware of what it is. We must then learn to neutralize that aspect. So then the third step, we can put our attention and our energy consciously towards what we want, so that the unconscious cannot sabotage us. So I hope this has served you. If it has, then please do subscribe to this channel, because the focus of this channel is to train you to be able to overcome the psychological war with your mind so that you can create the business breakthrough that you desire. And if this is resonating with you, there is a link that there should be available where, for the right entrepreneurs who are serious about wanting to create a business breakthrough, I do offer every month a small number of consultations where we take the step in diagnosing what is the unconscious focus that's occurring for you, so that we can start to free you up so you can create the business breakthrough that you desire. So, my name is Vinny. I hope this has served you. Please like, share and subscribe. Lots of love from me to you. Over and out.